All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the OneHealth podcast.
Episode 2.
We're back. We've learned a lot since the first one. I'm not going to lie, I was a little nervous. I don't know about you.
Just a little bit.
So today we're going to do a much better job of having some organic conversations. Today we have the one and only Staci Boyer. Staci, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So for those of you that don't know, Staci is an award-winning author, owner of Motiv8nU and Team Motiv8nU Elite, motivational speaker, personal trainer, competition coach. Am I missing anything there?
I don't think so. I think you guys are doing a great job.
I love it. So I pretty much read the headlines of what you do. Okay. I went on your Facebook and your Instagram and kind of perused it, I guess, a little bit, but I didn't dive too deep because I really wanted to genuinely kind of...
You didn't go through all 16 of my social media platforms. I mean,
I did not.
Goodness.
I did not. Yeah, because I just genuinely wanted to discover. I know you and Antonio have been working together for a while now, and I'm curious. I want to hear the whole thing. So I guess to start, bring us up to speed on your story. How did this all start? Was this a dream of yours from childhood, or did this just kind of organically develop as you went along? How did that go?
Well, I guess if we go all the way back to the very beginning, I was athletic in school with sports and cheerleading and stuff, but when I was about 13, I met Rachel McLish, and she was Miss Olympia at the time, right? And so female bodybuilding back then, because I'm 47 years old now, so when I was 13, the women's bodybuilding basically looked like what women's bikini does now. But for me, that was like an ideal look. Like I saw that and I was like, I want to look like that, and I want to embody that, empowerment, that type of woman. So, and I was young, but then, as I got older and just trying to find my way in the world, I went into the military. So then I was in the Navy for 12 years, but I was a hospital corpsman. So it's the medical field.
Oh, okay.
So my whole existence of what I do now pretty much started from me wanting to make people healthier, improve their quality of life, finding my way in the fitness world through medicine.
Okay.
Physiology, not anatomy and physiology, but like not just aesthetics or the gym aspect of it. Like now, when personal trainers get certified, for me, it was more about digging into illnesses and injuries and improving people's quality of life from that standpoint because of my medical background in the Navy.
Okay.
And so I got my first personal training certification back then when I was 18. So I'm almost 48, and so I've been continuously recertifying and getting certified in pretty much anything from jumping on a trampoline to Pilates reformer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's whatever's happened throughout the years, I've jumped on board to learn.
What was like the leading, because I know nowadays there's like NASM and ISSA. What was even a big certification back then? What was the organization?
In the very beginning, believe it or not, WITS. It's like World Instructor Training programs, but they really aren't that popular now. So yeah. I've been through WITS, I've been through NASM and ACE and ISSA. So ISSA, Master of Fitness Sciences. So I'm basically certified in every single thing that the ISSA offers.
Okay.
So... But I've been through all of them throughout the years because like a lot of, I was with Bally Total Fitness and they wanted us to do different programmings and different workshops and classes. So we were, up to speed on what was really popular, from that time. So,
yeah. I
mean, it's decades for me. I've been doing it for 30 years, It was like 3 decades. A lot changes.
Almost as long as I've been alive.
I know. I often say that. I'm like, I've been doing this for a job as long as you've been alive.
Yeah, I'm only 28.
Listen. So listen to your elders, Antonio.
Seriously.
All right. Well, Staci, tell us, okay, so after the Navy, you were already, while you were in the Navy, you were already focusing on the fitness
yes.
Aspect of things. competitions. How did you get into that?
Well, I didn't actually start competing until I'm going on my 11th year of competing now. So my son that you guys met out there, Drew, is 12. And it was right after I had Drew. My friend Michelle Green had been competing for a few years, and she worked with me at Bally's as a trainer. And she was like, saw me and my body, and she was like, you should totally do it. And I'm like, really? And I had never even thought about it at that point. I was always a fitness professional and a fitness enthusiast and a personal trainer and a Group X instructor, right? So the competition piece of it was like, I look back at Rachel McLish and I'm like, never thought I could attain that. But my friend said I could. And so she literally gave me her bikini. So
that's awesome.
In Ottawa was my very first competition that I ever did in 2007, and I did figure back then, and I got second place in figure short, and then I moved into fitness and bikini from there because I could never get as big as I needed to be competitive in figure. But then I'm about to do my 33rd competition in October up in Wisconsin. Wow. And I set out, I set different goals for myself, but I've continuously been doing it for a long time.
So for those that aren't familiar with the bodybuilding figure competition world, what is the difference between, we have physique, right? And then what's the other one?
Well, for women, so there's women and men, right? And you figure there's stages of muscle development. And for the layman listening right now or watching or whatever, it's think of going from bigger to smaller. And if somebody's watching right now and they look at me or they look at pictures of me on social media, I'm fairly small. Even though I have muscle definition when I compete, I'm fairly small in comparison to the women that do figure. So they're bigger and they have fuller muscle bellies. Then you've got women's physique, which are more conditioned, more striated, even more developed. And then the women's bodybuilding, which is bigger than that, which is kind of phased out, even though the women are very dedicated, but it's sort of phased out. And with the men, there's no men's bikini per se, but the more, I wouldn't say small, the men's physique class is, I would consider it a more marketable presentation. So if you can think of the men that you'll see on covers of magazines, in commercials, that the majority of the regular public can identify with and go, I could look like that, or I could do that, right? They've got the board shorts on, they're always smiling. It's like the guy that you see at the beach that you're like, that guy's hot, good looking. But then it goes bigger and bigger. And so you've got the classic physique, which is really, for those of us that have been in the business a long time, classic physique is kind of like the old school when you see Frank Zane and Arnold and what they used to look like back in the day, posing, and it's just the iconic look of bodybuilding.
Is that what you're doing?
No, he's doing men's physique because he's just starting out, and I want him to be, in the first level and then move up.
Gotcha.
And then bodybuilding with the men is obviously the biggest and takes a lot of time and a lot of toll on your body and a lot of building, unless you've got genetics there already. So phases. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I was always curious. I heard those terms thrown around a little bit, and I didn't know, what the difference. I just thought it was all one thing. I think the general public just thinks it's all one thing.
A fitness competition, basically. Yeah, that's what they think. But it is, I'm glad that there's different places to fit us in. So we all have an opportunity to succeed.
Yeah, Tori, I'm pretty sure you thought I was doing a figure competition, which is what you said the other day.
Oh my gosh, that's for girls. No,
I got laughed.
No, Antonio looks great. He looks great. I mean, I don't know. Do you walk around with your shirt off for him? Or no?
I don't.
Okay.
He doesn't.
I'll show you some of his progress pictures later. He's doing so good.
I love it. So you started, so you were doing competitions, and then you got into, were you a personal trainer while you were doing those competitions too?
Well, yeah, I've been a personal trainer since I was 18.
Okay. So those were going hand in hand.
Actively training people, doing nutrition, working on, every aspect of mobility and look at Pilates, look at yoga, kickboxing, strength training classes, boot camps, all of that stuff that we all do in the gym. Kind of, we're all part of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, personal training, and I'm still doing it.
Okay. So at what point did you say, okay, I'm doing these shows, how can I start coaching people to do these competitions? When did that transition happen?
It really started because people started asking me for help. So, 10 years ago, there wasn't, there's a few of us around the area that have had teams per se since back in 2008. Like my friend Jake Baumgartner, he's Team Bomb Squad. They're awesome. He's one of my good friends. Him and I have been around for a good while, but it's been progressively growing to where coaches have created this I don't know, the team concept, but nobody was really out there to guide anybody. And for me, I was like, wow, these girls are sort of just going into this blind, right?
Yeah.
And there's so much: posing, food, workouts, dialing in, glam, hair, the suit, the shoes, the jewelry, the tan, like all of that stuff. And I handle all of that stuff for my people, men or women. Like every aspect of it is part of the program that I provide. Not only that, but I keep the girls need my protection more than the boys do, but girls, especially in the social media age, are always approached by shady characters. So I like to be that person that they can call and go, who's this? Should I talk to them? Somebody said I should take this drug, and I'm like, nope, you don't need that, right? So I want to be that voice of reason, somebody that's going to research something, that's going to stand up for them. And the women need that. They need a woman to be there, to be on their side, because it's dangerous and toxic.
I think the current state of the fitness industry, and some of this falls on the consumer's shoulders too, but it's take this pill in 30 days you'll look like this, right?
Which is nonsense.
Yeah.
You've got to have all the factors. You have to have the food, you have to have the workouts. Supplementation is important if it's the right supplementation for you. But and everybody wants a quick fix, though. It's the path of least resistance. So that's why. And the marketing knows that. 3 days and you're going to yeah.
But one aspect from being a client of yours that I love, and my wife has worked with you as well, Kayla. She'll probably kill me for saying that. But we've
Don't worry, Kayla, I won't show anybody your progress pictures. Just Antonio's.
I have noticed a change in myself. First of all, thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Because you've helped. I mean, I've gone from my first. I think I sent you a picture the other day where it was my first progress photo, which is like a mugshot, no smile. Just
you're so shy, nervous, apprehensive.
Sent it over, and now it's
like the only person that ever saw you with your shirt off was Kayla.
That might be true.
It might be true.
That might be true. Actually,
you were like, oh no.
So now it's like, I'm sitting there and it's 11. I've got 30 minutes to posing. I'm like, man, let's get this. Let's go.
Yeah.
So I think.
And you're so confident. You're smiling. You're posing. You've got a proud chest. Your posture's changed. You are just a different person. That translates to every part of your life too, Antonio. Not just the fitness. The way that you look at yourself here, and then the way that you deal with any business venture, the way you come up with ideas. It's all connected.
So I just think that that's an amazing part. And how do you manage? I mean, I don't even think Tori realizes how many people you work with, or how do you manage all of those?
Well, I typically have about 150 clients at any given time, and I have my business is very large online, and it's grown over the past decade online, and I'm very organized. I use technology, and I've taught myself how to use technology. I mean, if you look at my website, I did that myself. So if I don't know how to do something, I go on YouTube and I find out how to do it. And then I organize. I have days that I do specific things. My Monday is my day for my check-ins, and people need to check in by a certain time so I can tweak and update. And then I have different days for different aspects of admin and different parts of, what I update. But then people think I'm crazy, but I make myself available from 5:45 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night via texts. So I have a very personal connection with all of my clients all of the time. And I have a second job because I got a night job. I call it my diversification of the hustle. Because I have a side hustle.
That's beautiful.
I have a side hustle that funds my main hustle. And that's why I'm able to open my studio September 15th. It's because I've been working at Topgolf 4 nights a week and saving. And now I'm able to open that and expand my business model to go back to where I can have people face to face.
Gotcha.
So, and obviously I'm going to have to work on my time management with that because it's going to switch some things around. But I mean, you know, when you're your own boss and you're an entrepreneur, you figure it out. I know being in the military helps me though, because that's kind of my mind.
Discipline, right?
Yes, my mindset. I'm very task oriented. I have to-do lists every day. I have like yellow legal pads, and every day I've got a list and boxes. And I'm very like task oriented, I guess is the best way to put it.
So how do you, so Antonio was joking about this earlier. He said you're working with a lot of divas, right? You may get some of that. I'm not putting those words in your mouth. Let me rephrase that. People who need their priority number one. Right?
Yes. Well, so, you know, in the competition world, so I have lifestyle clients and they're not quite like that because their goals are different.
Okay.
And then the competitors, and I don't want to call them divas, but it's a very superficial, selfish sport. And because you know at the end of the day, you're going to be half naked on a stage and having a bunch of strangers judge your body, right? So it's super stressful. Right? And so at the end of the day, if there's somebody's paying me, they want me to make sure they're ready for that.
Yeah.
So I better make them a priority, which I do. It does get a little exhausting though, because there's not just one or two people that, you know, they all want to be the number one.
Yeah.
And so, but.
That's gotta be tough.
Yeah.
It is.
So why, I guess you said you were in the medical part of the health and wellness area. Really deep down, have you always been in shape like this, or was there some other underlying reason that really drove you to keep doing this, to keep sharing, to keep coaching on and on and on?
Well, I don't think I've ever been you know, I know people that come to me and they're, you know, 294 pounds. I've never been in a situation where I needed to lose 30, 40 pounds. There was one point before I got pregnant with Drew where I had significantly low iron, and I actually was up to 150, which was the highest I've ever been. But my weight really is evenly distributed into to just a stranger. I probably didn't look like I was out of shape or uncomfortable or whatever. And I don't necessarily use that as a reason for me doing what I'm doing. Mostly it's not aesthetics for me. Like, I want people to be in shape so they look good and they feel good. But I've learned over the 3 decades is that people's mental clarity, getting a good night's rest, their energy level, their ability to be happy with themselves, their life, and their families, all revolves around this being healthy. And food does something to your body, whether it's good food or bad food. And when we have inflammation in our body, or we're very acidic or inactive, then all of these other things happen, and it's a domino effect. So we don't sleep through night, right? If we don't sleep at night, then we get up and we're always on this hamster wheel and we can't catch up. And then we're not as productive during the day, and we don't get where we want to be in our work, and then our relationships suffer. And it's all kind of connected to this, what we're putting into our body and how we treat it. So for me, it's not necessarily about being overweight per se, because you could have somebody that is super healthy, right?
Yeah.
Happy, sleeping through the night or whatever. And I look at them and they're my height and 40 pounds heavier than me, but really they're super healthy because they're eating right, they're active, they're sleeping, they're productive in their job, their relationships are solid, they're balanced with work and, you know, work-life balance. So that's why I keep doing this, because it's the conversation that I want to continue to have. It doesn't stop at the squat rack, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't stop at meal prep. And that's why I've wanted to grow my business and expand it, because it's really about, at the end of the day, the overall quality of life.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah, and you mentioned this earlier, your studio.
Yeah.
And let's talk in detail about that,
Okay.
because that's very soon you're opening that
Yes,
up.
very soon.
Where is this
So
opening up?
in Naperville, and it's over in the industrial park where Solomoth Brewery is and Two Fools Brewery. I'm
Good
excited.
spot.
It is, because I've got like the garage door that comes open, and
Oh,
that's the
perfect.
vibe I wanted for me. My main focus, I just bought a lot of really great new equipment, big Cybex pulley 2-tower systems, and I've got a lot of stuff that I've had throughout the years. But one of my main focuses with my studio is not necessarily like a full service gym per se. I have this Motiv8nU hybrid flow program that I've trademarked. It's specific exercises that are going to be my focus, and I want to focus on a lot of functional training and that. And core. I have the shark fin core video that I actually filmed at Eco Gym in Plainfield. It's on my YouTube channel, Motiv8nU Live, and Eco's all over in that video.
Yeah.
But the shark fin core series is
We'll link that up in the show notes.
Yeah, the shark fin core series and the Motiv8nU hybrid flow are the two things that I'm focusing mostly on with what I'm doing, and then my pageant prep stuff.
Okay.
And I have a stage that's built that is going to be for people in pageant world and bodybuilding world to work on posing, and I'm going to be setting up lighting and tripods for videos, so when people come in to work on that piece, it can be just, there's a little bit more for that experience for them. Because I've been working with pageants for about 8 years. I've been with Miss America organization, and I coach Miss Illinois.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so I've worked with tons and tons and tons of pageant girls. Miss Illinois, that's Grace, that's Miss Illinois right now, that's heading to Atlantic City for Miss America. She's actually worked with me since 2013. Yeah, so since she was young.
Wow.
Like we've been working together, and she's a dancer, and she is in obviously the most phenomenal shape. I feel like she's going to be one of the best representations of Illinois that we've brought to Miss America. She's a very well-rounded, smart, amazingly talented young lady. So, but yeah, that's kind of the studio.
That's
and
the
then I'm going to
studio.
do nutrition seminars. I'm going to do motivational seminars. I have about 100 different programs that I do that on different topics. Like how to keep your cup full, just being motivated, and the Dear Woman project that I do, and just things like that resonate with different people. I want to have a place where people can come and I can do that there.
Yeah. So as we keep going further and further down this rabbit hole, you keep mentioning I'm in this business, I do this, I do this, I do this. You are also a mother. You also have a family.
Yeah.
How do you find time in your day to balance the motherly side of things and the entrepreneurial side of things?
Yeah, and
that has to be difficult.
You just had a party the other day.
Just had a party for my older son. He's 19. He's going to be going in the military September 18th.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
I know. I'm very proud of him. Well, it's not always easy. My husband works a lot, and I work a lot, and we have specific days of the week where we have time to be together. But as far as the kids go, the thing is that, like I do have 2 jobs, right? Like the job that I do at Topgolf at night, but the other job, like I'm the boss, right?
Yeah.
So my boss is awesome. So, I mean, if I do need a day off, right?
I get it.
But primarily my business has been run from my home, and I changed that business model early on when I created Motiv8nU because I was working so much. When I was at Ballet Total Fitness, I was the general manager, the fitness director. I did Group X classes, and it was, really time consuming. And before that, I was a health educator with Blue Cross Blue Shield. So I was away from Corbin for a very long time in the first part of his life. And when I had the opportunity to open my own business and grow my own business, I was able to balance the family because I was able to be home.
Gotcha.
And make it work. Well, I mean, and I got him with me. Drew's with me right now because it was like an hour drive both ways, and we're just talking the whole time, right? So we make, you just make good use of the time. It's quality, right? Sometimes it's quality over quantity.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that last week, right?
Yeah, I think that's a common theme with a lot of entrepreneurs. Like we said, I mean, you get these guys and girls too who are staring at the TV, or they're playing their fantasy football, editing those things, and
Yeah.
their kids are watching TV, and
Right.
let the TV raise their kids too. So yeah, that's a common theme, that we're hearing.
Yeah, I mean, and my kids like games and they like their phones, and I'm on my phone because I've got 16 social media platforms to manage. So I'm not going to pretend that we don't do that kind of stuff. But we are very cognizant of the fact that if I have the opportunity for him to ride with me and us to just talk, and go to a movie that he wants to go to, or have certain nights of the week where like we go to Buffalo Wild Wings or something, you know what I mean, and do trivia night there because we both love to do trivia. So it's just like you find something and you try to plan it just like we would plan anything else. Again, quality over quantity.
Yeah. I'm really curious. So I know that we've all attempted, and probably a lot of the listeners have attempted, this whole meal prep thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, for the competitions, it's much, much, much more in-depth and weighing of the food and stuff like that. What I want to know, give me some hacks to this thing, because when I'm meal prepping on a Sunday and I'm spending 4 hours prepping all my meals for the week, I'm sure I'm not being as efficient as I could be. And the problem that, I run into, myself and my girlfriend run into, is we keep cooking the same things all the time because, this tastes decent, this and that. So I guess, what hacks do you use to speed up this process?
Well, okay, so when people come to me initially, they have issues with it. I find that the number one mistake people make is that they try to prepare a bunch of meals, for the week. They get all these little containers out and they start preparing all these
That's
meals.
exactly what I do.
Yeah, so I think
That's not it.
Stop that immediately.
Stop that immediately. Stop that immediately. So what I do is I cook in bulk and then just prepare for the day.
So, for example, you cook a bunch of chicken or you cook a bunch of steak.
Right. So what you grill and here's what you do. You get your grill out and you've got your shrimp, your chicken, your fish, your steak on the grill, and then you hang out with your girlfriend out there while you're grilling and you listen to music, right? Or you've got a crock pot and you put chicken in there and it's 10 hours while you're not home.
Got it.
Right? Making a huge pot of quinoa or a huge pot of brown rice, or putting and while you're making the rice, your sweet potatoes can be in the oven at the same time while you're outside grilling. That's not going to take 4 hours. Because then in the morning, when you get up on Monday, if you got 3 meals, technically there's going to be at least 2 meals at home, and then a couple meals that you're going to have to bring with you. So make the 2 each day and take it with you from the food that you've made in bulk.
I've been doing it completely wrong.
Yeah. And then, as far as variety goes, here's the thing I say. I mean, everybody wants to turn every meal into some sort of ice cream social or Mexican fiesta. I mean, just eat your food. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to taste like a chocolate donut. Just eat. And plan your treat meals. Plan a night where you're going to go out for Mexican, or plan a night where you're going to have chocolate cake and beer. Plan it so you can get excited about it. Every day, just eat foods that you enjoy. If you like ranch popcorn seasoning on your rice and your chicken, eat it. Eat your vegetables, eat your food, eat those stapled meals, and look forward to the treats that are off plan, like La Hacienda or whatever.
So do you, when you're, let's say your lifestyle program, do you bake those cheat meals or cheat days into your planning?
Yes,
You do?
I actually
Okay.
do. So what I'll do is I'll have their workout programs. I have a software program where I plug in everybody's workouts, and they log in on their phone and they go to the day and the workouts come up and the little people move and it tells them what to do. And then on that calendar, if they've got treat meals scheduled, I schedule the treat meal in, and then what I typically do is increase cardio around the treat meals. So what I do is, and if somebody's got a treat meal on a Saturday, I'm going to give them fasted cardio Saturday morning and Sunday morning, especially if they're looking to achieve weight loss goals, because this gives them the freedom to have a reward for doing well during the week, but also keeps them on track and not taking steps backwards. So I figure all of that, into the big picture.
Got it. So here's another thing I'm curious about. So you make these meal plans for these people. I'm sure you've experienced this hundreds of times. How do you hold these people accountable? Let's say they're falling off the wagon and they're sending you progress photos. Is that a really hard, honest conversation to have with somebody?